Hello and welcome back. This will now be the final video of the series. Now this will be the top 20 most helpful INT units. I'm Normal Player Guy. So let's kick things off real quick. Your first four are INT LR Cell, Broly, Garlic Jr. and Mai. So starting with Mai. So she has a good lead. It's 120% stats for the time travelers, and that means that if you don't have the LR Trunks and Mai, you can easily run this one. So she's useful in the way. She has a 50-50 chance to stun on Super. She also has another 50-50 chance to stun the attacked enemy on attack. So she has useful chances to stun. She also is 2 key 40% for all time travelers, so great support for the only problem is you can only realistically run her on future slash time travelers. There's a lot of overlap, but just because of the stun chance alone for the two different procs, she's good on Peppy Gals and Earthlings. Overall, you'll find that she's very unique, and you'll have to hide her in difficult content. You won't really be going outside of Infinite history, and you wouldn't really be touching her in Extreme Super Battle Road, but maybe just regular. Now, the next one is Garlic Jr. So he's a Heavenly Events lead of 120%. Again, pretty good, especially if you don't have the Gohan. He has 160% at the start of turn. That's pretty good. Now, versus superclass enemies, he has a 60% extra attack and defense and a 30% chance to stun on attack, and that's against superclass. He also gives 3 key 40% to any extreme class allies, making him quite valuable on any of the teams that have him in. He even heals 10% at the end of the turn if he's hit. And that's just a niche little bonus at the end. He does have big bad bosses, there's Conquest and Metamorphosis, again making him a really fantastic support villain. All he does is he raises attack and his super attack, which means that he's not going to do the most, but he is a must run in any villain build that will include him. Now Broly, a lot of people will probably put Broly way up high into the A tier, but for the reasons alone I'll have him down in this one. So he has a really good leader skill. Planetary Destruction and movie bosses, HP 130, attack and defense 170. That's really, really good. Movie bosses can do with a good lead. Now he does stack attack and defense, making him really, really good in long events. But of course that means he might be a little bit squishy at the start of turn in, say, short events. However, that being said, he still does have 3 key 180% stats. Now, he comes out of the gate with 18% damage reduction and 18% crit chance. Now, that doesn't mean he's defensive though, as of just yet. But you see, versus a pure or hybrid Saiyans, he gains an additional 3 key, an additional attack, so that's one extra additional attack. He has 18% extra damage reduction, that's putting it to 36. He has 18% crit chance extra, that's putting that to 36, and that's only if he supers first. Now, if he just had that just against the enemy prior to attacking, then that would have been even better. That probably would have put him up a bit higher, but he's still got to attack first. He does launch an additional normal attack, which has a 30% chance to super, but to get these additional attacks, you've got to be against a pure or hybrid Saiyan. That said, that's not exactly hard to come across. When he builds up, this 18% damage reduction, or 36 albeit, really comes into play. But until then, you'll find that it's not going to be quite the case. He does have an active skill. His active skill is if he supers several times. Even though that this guy has additionals built in, more so if against a pure hybrid Saiyan, on running him, I don't have him, but I'll have him as a guest. On running him, I find that it's still 5 or 6 on average, turn 5 or 6, even if he's in slot 1. I'll do 2. There's been maybe once or twice that I've done 3, but that's still putting me round until turn 3 again, and then he comes back around to turn 5 when he's got the chance. So that's more for the mid game. Now, of course, then you got LR Cell, who now is better buffed with the physical easy A Cell. So he is really, really still good. He still is a 4 key 150% to HP and attack and 170 to defense for the Android Cell Saga. Of all the higgledy ups and downs between the differences, it's one of the better ones of 150 and 170. He still has a good battlefield leader skill of extreme int on 20% to stats, so he's really good in that regard. He does have 80% of start of turn. The new physical one, or the revamped physical one, now has more. He has 80% extra defense. The more health you have, the more of the buff. That's on a scale. So now he also, much like the physical one, has 1 key and 20% attack per enemy remaining. Like the physical LRCell again, but he has 30% attack. So he will transform anytime onto your 30% health. Now, often this is doable. Many times you'll be caught out by a stray super, or you're taking too much damage, or the enemy can lower your defense and you've been ripped to shreds. You'll enter the next turn that he's on, and straight away you get that full heal. Then he becomes an absolute powerhouse. Now, defensively, I think he's actually better ever so slightly in his untransformed form. But when in his active skill mode, he is absolutely way more powerful. So, based on how many orbs you get, so he comes out of the gate with 4 key 120% stats, so that's 40% more. So, he gains 20% attack and defense respectively for every 2 orbs starting from 4. So he gains 20% from 4 orbs, 20% again attack and defense extra from 6, and then he just gets attack actually on the 8th orb. Now, he does have Big Bad Boss's Ultimate Life Form and LR Power. Again, fantastic for the other LR cell. He can work really well in Monotype Extreme Super Battle Road for the Extreme Int, just on his leader skill alone. Now, that's the reason why those are in those 4 places. Your next 4, some may have some a bit higher, but the reason being, I'll tell you more. So, much like the prior video where the physical one had the Xeno Goku, the Goku family support. Now the Vegeta version, the Vegeta Xeno Goku Vegeta family support, third form Frieza, Kibito, and Shin. The LR Vegito. Now this will be the 7th anniversary EZA version of them. LR God Goku and the Battlefield Reward, the LR Shenron. So the Xeno Vegeta family support, a lot like Goku, but perhaps he's been a little bit less. He got given a little bit less, especially on super attack effects. So he's a good leader for new players if you don't have the LR straight off the bat, or if you don't have the Margin Vegeta, who will be on here shortly. There's your hint. So his 120% stats. He, again, much like the physical Goku counterpart, he greatly stacks attack and defense. However, this time, rather than having a chance to stun, and it's actually a high chance to stun as well, he actually just lowers attack. That's useful, that still is useful, but it's just not as great as a high chance to stun. He has 120% to start of turn. He has 100% to attack with any other Vegeta family member on the team. All of this is the exact same. And again, 2 key 40% for any Vegeta family members on the team. The only difference really is the super attack effect, and one has stun, one has lower attack. I feel like if they just gave this guy the same, that would have just been even better. I mean, it would have just made it just so. I don't know why there's quite much of a difference. I don't quite know why Goku has to be better, although I get it throughout the entire show. Now, third form Frieza. Third form Frieza is really good, and I really wanted to put him into A class, but I just found that he's just a little too limited to stick him in A class. But by all means, I could have very easily have put him in there. There was someone else in the top 10 who I could have swapped with, and I was debating back and forth, but you'll see why. So he's a sworn enemies lead of 130% of stats. Again, if you don't have that AGL LR Frieza, this guy will be the one to get. Now, I didn't pull that Frieza, but I did pull this Frieza, so I'm stuck with running him. Now, he stacks attack and only raises defense by 30% per turn. However, he has 70% at the start of turn and gains 7% attack and defense per attack performed. You'll need 10. Now, he also has a 50-50 chance to launch 2 attacks. Each has a 50-50 chance themselves to become a super attack. So you flip the coin and you get a little bit lucky. You can get 2 attacks, and let's say one of them becomes a super attack. So you've attacked a couple of times. Each one's raising your attack and defense by 30%. You're stacking attack, and you get the extra 7% per attack. Now, he also gives sworn enemies allies 3 key 40% stats. Really, really powerful. He does have big bad bosses as well, which, as I say, for the LR First Form Freezer and the LR AGL Freezer, he's absolutely good. Now, Shin and Kibito, probably one of the most under-recognized, undervalued units in the game, probably because not a lot on people's minds, but they do a lot. Now, they also have a unique ability in their active skill, which, much like Angel Freezer on the last video, you can transform at any point. Prior to that, just in Shin's version, just himself. So he is a Patara lead of 100% of stats, but it is 4 key, but it's only 100% of stats. Now, in his super attack, it greatly raises, so that's a 50% raise to defense, and he has a 50-50 chance to stun. That alone is very, very good. He has 2 key, 120% at the start of turn. He also has a 50-50 chance to dodge. And any enemy attacked lowers the attacked enemy's attack by 30% for 2 turns. He just recovers 10% HP at the end of the turn, just flat out no matter what. So he has 50-50 chance to stun, 50-50 chance to dodge, can actually lower the attack, and he greatly raises defense. And he hasn't even transformed. When he transforms, he now greatly raises attack and defense rather than just greatly raise defense. But now, instead of having the chance to stun, he now seals. He has 3 key, 150% the stats. So that's up a little bit. So all enemy upon the first appearance, all enemies' attack is lowered by 20% for 2 turns. Now, for once only, again from the first appearance, said attacked enemy is also stunned for 2 turns. And that's just as he attacks once, so he's affecting everybody. He still recovers 10% HP. Now, for the 4 teams he's on, he's exceptionally useful, especially in Super Battle Road, and especially more for Realm of Gods as well, but he's good in Patara Joint Forces and Majin Buu Saga. Now, it's funny, I believe this guy came out alongside Patara, but they kind of really buffed Realm of Gods and Majin Buu. Now, the next one on this for the B tier is the LR Shenron, and that's the battlefield reward if you have enough points to get him. Really powerful, actually, this guy. So GT bosses, 130% stats. It is free to play, though. So in his 12 key, he lowers attack and defense, useful. In his 18 keys, the same, but now has a 30% chance to stun, also really useful. He has a 70% at the start of the turn. He has 70% extra to his stats on attack, so you want to run this guy in second or third slot. Now he gains 4 key when the enemy attack and defense is lowered. Now, if you pair them up with the other Omegas who just do it passively, STR Shenron, for example, who now lowers attack and defense from his EZA passive, then that just means he's always going to get that 4 key, making it much easier to get 18 key for his stun chance. So, he gives 3 key 30% stats to GT bosses. And again, quite a good support. Works fantastic with any Shadow Dragons, but any Shadow Dragon Saga alone. He does have GT Big Bad Bosses and Shadow Dragons, all giving attack and defense. Works really, really well, and I found that I could have no-itemed the Extreme Super Battle Road Shadow Dragon Saga just with using Oceanus actually as the lead, and I had can't remember what guest I used, but the guest was, I think it was, unsure actually. You'll have to forgive me for that one. But I almost no-itemed it. Between having all the Omegas passively just lower the attack and defense, and all the other effects that stack on, like this guy further lowers the attack and defense, they just can't do anything. And then, of course, there was one other person on there, which again, I'll talk about just in a little bit of time, who was probably instrumental as well to that. Really powerful unit, but really, really limited. Now, he does have an active skill. It's just turn 7. That's just it. So, you might struggle. In that Extreme Super Battle Road, I didn't reach turn 7. There's just no way. I just couldn't be touched. And I kept taking them out far too quick. Should you trigger it, however, you do get 7 key, and all enemy stats are lowered by 30%. So that just basically allowed you to get the stun chance. That's basically all that it does. Now, for the next one. Now, LR Goku, one of the older ones, but will come more into relevance in the Red Zone event with the new LR gods, I believe, the Blue Brothers there, as these all trigger quite a few links, and he still does have an effective passive. He does have a nice lead on the low side, but it's a nice lead of pure and hybrid Saiyans, but it's only 130% stats. His 12 key greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn. He's 18 key for 3 turns, making him really, really powerful. He has no defense at start of turn, but he does have an attack buff of 77%. Not bad. However, you can still get defense from his passive if you build the team around pure hybrid Saiyans. So he gets 1 key, 11% attack and defense per hybrid, pure hybrid Saiyans on the team, not himself included. So that's only 5 of them. So he gets that 5 max. So basically, if you build the team correctly, you can have 5 key, 77% attack, and 55% defense start of turn. Now, for the first 7 turns, he has a 50-50 to crit and a 50-50 to dodge. That alone puts him in there. That alone almost puts him in 18. He's defensively viable, as I say, the team is just built around him. He does have a strong link set. All of them is based around key and attack. Now, he's, as I say before, he's excellent with the 7th year anniversaries. And he's good on Realm of Gods, Kamehameha, and Turtle School. That's basically a Goku team. But again, you got to build around a godly power build of it. Now, coming into the last one, probably quite controversial at this point, as the LR Vegito, and that is the EZA version. So now they're now flat out Potara 108% stats. They still have a battlefield lead of any INT type 120% to stats, still making them quite useful. Now, however, prior to this, it was quite shocking that a LR had no super attack effect at all, especially on the 12 key. But now they raised the attack and defense by 30%. The 18 key is the same. That is a lot like the STR counterpart. They have 180% at the start of turn, extremely powerful. They have a 30% chance to crit, a 30% chance to dodge, and 2 key per rainbow key sphere. Now that is very identical to the STR version, the STR counterpart, except it's damage reduction over dodge and crit chance. So while one has 30% chance to dodge and crit, your one that's got 30% damage reduction flat out. So how would you like to build that? Well, they're basically inseparable and will probably make for a better team. Now, the conditions are still the same. Now, you've got to hit 6 turns and you'll be under 50% HP. Now, having a look at some of the new difficult content, the Red Zone, I believe that's now actually easy to achieve. Should you actually achieve that, and you will. So you now get a full heal. The 18 key now raises defense, so the 12 key now still raises the attack and defense, but the 18 key now greatly raises, which is a 50% raise, and that's 30% buff to all allies as well. Well, it's 30% attack buff to all allies. So as I say, you get your full heal. Now though, he jumps up to 200% the stats, so you get an extra 20% extra. He now counters, which means you gotta do a crit build. Now what really makes him especially useful, especially nice, is for the first 3 turns on appearance when he transforms, 30% damage reduction, much like the STR Vegito, who funny enough, when he does transforms, he loses it. But from the 4th turn, you only get 15% damage reduction. Now, you do get 3 key per rainbow to really help you get that 18 key to greatly raise defense. Now, as I say, aside from the STR, in the base form, they're kinda so-and-so, kind of the same. They're still really, really impressive. Except the STR version slightly pulls a little bit ahead in the fact that he can actually scouter the whole, you can see the enemy super attack. He has that scouter effect. That kind of just puts them ahead. That's kind of the gap between it. That's basically it. So yeah, so transformed STR better, and probably being a newer LR, his counter crits will be just a little bit more. But you still can't deny that 200% of stats with a revamped EZA LR is still going to hit hard on crit counters. That's the reason why he's only in B. Had he been slightly more closer, he'd have been in A. Now, top 10. So the top 10, this is the other guy that replaced Third Form Freezer. So I felt like this guy, he needed more credit, especially because he's free to play, and they gave him an Awakening Angenesia, making plenty of content. But this guy is really, really good on one specific thing, and that is against a Goku family enemy. Is free to play kept him in the A slot. Realistically, he is so he has a nice 100% at the start of turn. But where this guy gets in is against any Goku family member. Now that does include the likes of Raditz. He guards, and all allies get 2 key 20% attack. And he also reduces damage by 50% when this guard is triggered. All of this against a Goku family, and he's free to play. That's basically it. There isn't really much to go in for this guy. Should you need to have him on any of these teams that should have them, for example, you might find this more helpful on the Infinite Dragon Ball history and Dokkan events more than you would say Super Battle Road. There was one Super Battle Road, but don't try and get me to remember what that was. But realistically, you'll probably find him really useful on the other content. But the fact that he's free to play and he does all this, it's incredible. And that's really all we'll say on that one. Next, coming round, we have Oceanus. Again, this was the lead I had, and this was the MVP for the Extreme Shadow Dragons Extreme Super Battle Road. And I almost no-itemed it. So she does an awful lot. So she raises defense on, which is 30% rage for super, but she also seals, which is really, really good. She has a nice 3 key 120% stat, so she can look after herself. She has an additional attack and defense of 60% and launches an additional super attack when the enemy is in attack down or defense down status. You will get that all the time, because passively the other Shenrons do this. Now, whether you run the physical one for the lead, or whether you just run the STR for the big bad, he has the full power buff as well, but either of them do this. So you're guaranteed to get the additional super attack, which raises that defense even more. Now she's super effective against all types, with a 50% chance to stun the enemy when the super attack is sealed. Now you think she's guaranteed to launch an additional super attack, which already seals him, and then you just automatically have a 50% chance to stun just flat out. And you get lucky, and I did, and that just happened all the time basically. So real limited. Try not to run around Peppy Gals. Not going to work. Not really going to work. But Shadow Dragons and GT bosses, there's a lot of overlap there, so she can be incredibly valuable. Probably the most valuable person on Shadow Dragon Saga currently going. That's why I have her more ahead than the LR. Now, the next one is the new Margin Vegeta. So he's a powerhouse, but he's also a defensive machine. And he also has a fantastic leader skill based around Vegeta. So Majin Buu Saga or Vegeta family, 170% across the board, but was one of the first new 200% leads. They only came in on the 7th anniversary. We're getting them a little bit early, and that's an extra 30% to stats for Gifted Warriors. That's just any Vegeta, basically. You run a Vegeta family team, that's just flat out 200%. And what's the best thing about that is it's not the attack or defense, it's probably having the extra 60%, the double 30 buff, the 60% extra health. I have over 600k health just running these guys. That's incredible. So 30% to stats on super attack. Now, where this guy really gets kooky. So, any chunks, doesn't matter if it's Kid, doesn't matter if it's Xeno, doesn't matter, as long as it's a chunks. You'll have a nice entrance animation, and you'll reduce damage by 30% bar none. And you get that at the start of turn. Now, so you get 180% of start of turn, which is really, really good. You also get an additional 50% when you super attack. So you get 180%, 50% on super, 30% of super, and a 30% damage reduction. Oh wait, he does more. So he also gets an additional 50% defense with 3 or more key spheres, that's any key spheres, and reduces damage by 20% extra with 6 or more key spheres. So let's break it down for what you're more realistically going to get. And by the way, his perfect partner is the Super Saiyan 2 Margin Vegeta, even if he's not transformed into the Margin Vegeta just yet. So you're getting 180% at the start of turn. Run any chunks, you get 30% damage reduction. You get 50% on super attack. You get 30% on super attack. You get 50% extra defense with 3 or more key spheres, which you're probably going to get, and damage reduction again. This guy cannot be stopped, especially if he super attacks first. Crazy amounts. Then he gets an 88% attack and randomly changes any type to INT when you're under 88% HP or less, which again, absolutely going to be common. So turn 1, no. Turn 3 onwards, yes, absolutely. You could chance it with his 30% damage reduction and stick him in slot 1 turn 1. But you only have to put him in slot 2 or 3 once. Then he's off to the races. So his active skill, now I don't personally like it because it's sacrificing 18% HP. However, it does stun all enemies. So it's good in that it's really useful in a very technical side of things. So again, Super Battle Road facing many enemies, yes, that's probably worthwhile. Going up against 1-to-1 or going up against if you're trying to grind out Zenny in Easy A's, no, that's just worthless. But again, this guy, unbelievable what he does. Now, that's that. Your next one, free-to-play unit, one of the greatest. Probably is one of the greatest as well. He came out with the counterpart of the Candy Vegito. No surprise to see them both on here. Now, these were the Halloween fancy things that came out, the Halloween event. So, it's a small fusion lead. So, would you run him? No. Do you know what he is useful though? Do you know those Easy A areas where you've got to use certain characters? Can be good there. So 50% raise to his super attack and 50% chance of stunning the enemy. That's already very, very good. So he's a rainbow key sphere changer. So that's pretty good itself. And he gets attack and defense per rainbow achieved. And you're going to want rainbows because he recovers 10,000 HP, 9999, and 30% per key sphere obtained the rainbow. Funny enough, he actually didn't do much from his un-Easy A version. His un-Easy A version, he just recovered more health basically, and he got a little bit attack and defense per orb, but he still did a lot. Now he's just even better. He's a fantastic option in Battlefield. He's a fantastic option in Super Battle Road for Fusion, Join Forces, Youth, Special Pose, Gifted Warriors, Time Limits, and Fused Fighters. Fused Fighters is a new one, but especially for those really tricky Super Battle Roads where you got Youth, Time Limit, Gifted Warriors, Special Pose, and Fusion. Fusion is very glass cannony, lots of power. The only real MVP, if you have him, is the Tech LR. But again, super clutch, just with the high chance of stunning the enemy, the easy enough to just to generate rainbows, which again all the fusion characters kind of need to really help get the best attack stats. And then he just recovers health. Now it's only 10,000 HP per rainbow. Let's say you got 3 or 4, and you're going to quite easily achieve 3 or 4. It's 40,000 HP, which will be probably what he takes from a normal prior to his super attack. So you can kind of balance that out. Never ever underestimate this guy. He has saved me many a time, and I'm pretty sure he saved all you guys plenty of times. Next one. Now, funny enough, I consider this probably to be the best unit in the game. Now, that's just not a lie. This guy just does a lot, and can you imagine if he had an Easy A? So he's capable of having a nice battlefield leader skill, sub 1, and that's still 90% stats. It is super int though. So he has a 30% chance to stun the enemy. And even if the other one, which is a 50-50 flip the coin, it's still a 30% chance. The additional is just TN. You just get a small multiplier buff to the super attack. But don't worry, this guy is not made to do super good damage. But he does have a 30% chance to stun. I would really like to see this guy get a little bit extra buff. So he has a 50-50 chance to evade any attack flat out, and reduces damage by 50 to 90%. Now that's actually in stages. So at the start of turn, you get 50% of full health. That was all the way down. When you get to 40% HP, you got 80% damage reduction. That's on the par with Vegetos and Freezers. And you get a whopping 90% when you're under 20% HP. So that's in nice stages, not just 50-50s like some of the older units. You will struggle to get a lot of key for this guy. Not many people on these are going to be running World Tournament, World Tournament Champion, and Champion Strength. And well, you won't even probably get Hero. You probably won't get Soul versus Soul. Supreme Power doesn't give anything. Fierce Power doesn't give anything. But these two, you aren't going to run. Now you could, and I believe one of them might be fitting off Videl, but no, you probably ain't going to get his super attack, which is really, really disappointing. But again, you don't have to. He's a slot 1 turn 1 character. He can dodge, and he knows just when to, and just reduce his damage. You can throw him into the worst content, and he will just make it look like nothing. Currently, one of the hardest bosses in the game is Omega Shenron in Battlefield. Should you be running Super INT, should you have the option to stick him in, he doesn't lock your rotation. Shenron isn't touching this guy. If you need to run Majin Buu Saga for some of the longer events, Infinite History or the Fight and Legend events, you throw this guy in any type disadvantage slot. It doesn't matter. This guy will take it all. I'd like to see this guy Benizia and just have a little bit of defense, something like 40-50%, just to help complement his damage reduction. But I'd also like to see around 3 to 4 key put in, or something to do with +1 per orb, just to really make this guy more all round. I think if they did that though, he would just be broken. He is incredibly fun to use. It's just funny to see that Hercule will dodge and tank anything. Is still one of the best units in the game. One of my personal favourites. So we now enter the top 5. Is that the top 5? It is the top 5. So now we've got probably one of the more obvious ones, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Now on par with the Tech one. Well, Global will get that opportunity into the third part of the anniversary. So you're probably expecting his awakening probably sometime in beginning of August, late July. So it's a giant 8 power, full on 170, Shadow Dragon Saga 150. That's right, this is the guy I used as the guest for the Shadow Dragon Saga. That reminds me. So yes, 50% to stats on super attack, big 200% at the start of turn, big 4 keen attack and defense, 40% for 8 turns at the start of turn. So that's really, really good. And his active skill as well is also 40% attack and defense. So that actually really stacks in quite nicely if you're able to get it. If you're able to receive the 4 attacks within the 8 turns, he's going to have close to 300% when it stacks up. So, as I say, super effective against all types for 8 turns, and it's a 50-50 chance from there on afterwards, which is a lot like the Tech one. He has the same sort of ability. The additional 40% attack and defense for 8 turns is a lot like Tech Gogeta's 25% that doubles itself for every super attack, so they're very, very similar. So he has a 50% chance of evading the super attack, actually countering it. Now, that's down from the Tech 1's 70%. So probably in the longer of the events where the stages get more and more tricky and they can really hit hard, having that 70% chance to counter versus the 50, you're going to want Tech Gogeta for the long events. But I believe start of turn, this guy has more, as he has 240% at the start of turn, and you can even get his active skill in there. But for longer events, you're going to want to bank on that Tech Gogeta's 70% dodge. Now, really, really good on a lot of these teams. I don't have to say anything much about it. Probably one of the MVPs outside of the Tech Alarm Fusion. Not so much in Shadow Dragon Saga unless you're going to run it around the superclass build. Kamehameha, probably might not necessarily run him on that, because again he's a GT based build. But final trump card, Giant 8 Power, GT Heroes, Time Limit, Accelerated Battle, and even the 2 new ones, especially Fuse Fighters, really going to come in handy there. The 200% at the start of turn, well, 240 realistically on Fusion, really helps to just secure Fusion's weakness of just overall defense. So that's why he's on here. Now, Entering in to the top 4, we now have another GT unit, and that's Vegeta GT unit. GT Heroes 170% across the board, works really well with said Super Saiyan 4, but a Vegeta family 150% to stats. Probably prefer this guy to the LR, as he's a Super Saiyan, not a Super Saiyan 4. A bit easier to work around. Super Saiyan and Golden Warrior, as the likes here, are a bit easier to get than Saiyan Raw, as that is a Super Saiyan 4 specific link. So, big attack on super attack and a small amount of defense. Now he gets 120% defense, 108% attack. He is a Rainbow Warp Changer, works really, really well. Now he gets attack and defense plus 10% when performing a super attack. So that means if you get 10 orbs, that is 100% attack and defense, but on super attack. So he's got to go first. See, the counterpart, Goku, gets it before, he gets it at the start, but this guy gets it on super attack, probably making him defensively better. And he gets an extra 50% attack per GT Heroes, whereas Goku gets 50% defense per GT Heroes. That's in the same terms, so that's basically just 100%. So you factor in that when this guy goes second or third, he is absolutely just dominating. And of course, simply put, when you've done 4 more super attacks, you can have this massive attack buff. Massively raises attack. Does it actually tell me the attack buff? Is it 100%? It is 100%, yes. So that is a 100% buff on top of his greatly stacking attack. So, well, sorry, no, he doesn't stack. So he's greatly raised attack on top of this and on top of this. So he's getting a lot of attack. So this guy can dominate. He's a really good leader skill, putting him in the A tier already for GT Heroes and the Vegeta family. As I say, he does all this, especially with the Rainbow. Entering now into your top 3, but again, in no particular order, we now have Vados. Universe 6, and that is 120% to stats. One of many Universe 6 that has 120% to stats, but she lowers attack and seals, make it extremely useful in that Super Battle Road. The attack and defense of 60%, fair enough. She has a 50-50 chance of evading any attack. Now this is where she gets really, really good. So anyone on Universe 6, Realm of Gods, Sibling Bonds, and Bonds of Master and Disciple, you get 20% attack and defense. No key though, that's a little disappointing. But if you find that you will have a Universe 6 build, or you have a Tournament of Power build which will run a lot off Universe 6 and even Sibling Bonds and Bond of Master and Disciple, you're going to get, what is that? That's 4, so that's 80% attack and defense if all of them are on this. And if you got just a couple of them, you're still getting 40% attack and defense to allies. She's really able to fulfill that role quite well. So it's a Rainbow Warp Changer as well, not a problem, but you've got to be on the Universe 6 team. So again, you'll want to run her on Universe 6, and you want to run her on Bond of Master and Disciple. Now, the reason you want to run her on Bond of Master and Disciple is she runs really well with STR Whis and Physical Beerus, or basically any Beerus, as just having the Realm of Gods, Sibling Bonds, and Bond of Master and Disciple. That is 60% attack and defense for the LR Whis and Beerus, the STR Whis, and the Physical Beerus, who are already fantastic units in their own right. Really, really helpful unit. Really easy to farm super attack. There's actually a story event that you can actually farm her from. It's the AGL. Yes, the AGL one can be farmed to raise from a story event. Now, into the final 2. Probably could have guessed this guy's coming. That's Gotenks. Now, in this form, you don't really want to know about. You want to float him off, and you want to have him in Super Saiyan form. Now, not to say that he still actually raises defense for 1 turn, as that's a 50% raise in his base form, but we just don't want to touch this one, because where he really starts going well for it is this. This is where he really starts going crazy. So special pose, full 170 across the board. So if you're struggling in that Super Battle Road and you have an option for this guy, or you have him, you know this guy's the way to go. Youth also exceptionally useful on. Youth doesn't have a top tier leader skill, but you can still use him. Now again, he still greatly raises his defense, but now he has a 70% chance to stun. That's absolutely incredible. And of course, additionals will make this guy incredible. Imagine having two 70% chances to stun. Now, as I say, in special pose and youth, that's going to come in really, really handy. He gives himself 2 key 100% stats. He has a big 50% to attack and an additional 50-50 to attack. So that's a two 50-50 flips. If you get him, he has 200% attack and 100% defense. So he also has the same for defense, where he has a 50-50 for defense, an additional flip of the coin for defense. So you'll be able to tell just from his stats, but flip the coins, and you have to flip the coins 4 times, you can have 200% attack and defense. But that really, really varies. And this is where this guy can and cannot be good based on what he's going to do, based on your luck. So, all in considered in his best scenario, where he is really, really good in special pose and youth, and he's really, really good on fusion. He's also really, really good on Final Trump, Special Pose, Rapid Growth, Saviors, Connected Hope, and Gifted Warriors, Heavenly Events, Time Limit, can even run in on Mastered Evolution. All these are smaller, very undeveloped teams currently compared to the rest. You have a lot of gamble, but you'll often come out right. He also has a 30% chance to launch an additional super. You think you get that and your hidden potential system. You're looking good. This guy does a lot. Now in this, so when he hits Super Saiyan 3, it's more for straight up attack, because he now loses a little bit of his stun chance, it goes down to 50%, but he now greatly raises attack and defense for 3 turns rather than just for the turn. And a 50-50 to stun is still nice. You imagine if he still had the 70, still has the 100% at the start of turn. Did he have key prior to that? I think he did. So he actually did have 2 keys. So he actually loses 2 key. So he then gets 3 key and a great chance of launching an additional super attack. So that's actually 3 key and 70% chance to do an additional super attack. So that's actually really good. And the fact that he greatly raises for 3 turns, and all this is for 4 turns. So again, you're looking at his best case scenario when you transform, and when he does, he shares all the links with Super Saiyan 3 physical Gotenks. You'll find that this guy then has a 70% chance to do his additional super, who has a 50% chance to stun. Personally, I like him in the Super Saiyan form, he still greatly raises defense, although it's not attack, but he also has a 70% chance of stunning. You're going to want him more versatility in this form. So, of course, he transforms when your HP is 70% or more from the 4th turn. So basically, it's Tech El Largo Jita all over again. As I say, he's going to get fusion, transformation boost even, if you build a superclass. So Youth, Final Trump, Special Pose, Rapid Growth, Saviors, Connected Hope, Gifted Warriors, Heavenly Events, Time Limit, Entrusted Will, Mastered Evolution. All of these he's absolutely useful on, especially probably more for fusion, Special Pose, and Youth. So you'll find him absolutely key on that. Now the last one, and I hope this was also on people's list, and that's the 6th anniversary units, and that is Evolution Blue Vegeta. So he has a good leader skill, Powerful Comeback or Rep 7. Now Powerful Comeback has the likes of INT LR Super Saiyan Goku, who did not make this list, but is all in his right of his own a very good unit. And I almost know White. I think I did know White him a particular stage in the Fighting Legend event just on that team. Also Rep 7, and that's just 170% across the board. So his new team has 170% flat out, which is really, really good. Perhaps what puts him above the rest, which is a 50% chance to crit on his super. Now, if you did an additional super, that actually is 50 plus 50. So his additional is a guaranteed crit. So if you manage to get that, you can double super, double crit, and a hidden potential system comes in. That's triple super, triple crit, because every super thereafter would be a crit. He has a nice 150% at the start of turn, although I'm a bit disappointed that there isn't any key, and that's kind of a downside, but not too much. So he reduces damage by 10%. That's just flat out, but he gets an additional 10%, and that's up to 30 with every attack received. Now he can get caught out with super attacks, but you can confidently put him into slot 1, turn 1, and he can take a bit of damage and have that damage reduction. So then he builds ki with each attack performed. Now I kind of would just like that just at the start of turn, or even if on every turn you gain ki, that would have been better. He has a 30% chance of launching an additional super attack, which I found to be more 50-50, I'll be honest. And when that happens, he's guaranteed to crit. Now again, one of the big things that came out for this guy is that he can revive. So to make it clear, now you've got to have been hit 7 times, and you've got to enter the turn with 50% HP or less. And if you're knocked out at any point in that turn, you will revive with 70% HP. So that's be hit 7 or more times and under 50% HP entering the turn. So again, his active skill's pretty easy to get. Just hit turn 4 over 50% HP, and he does his active skill, which is just an AoE. Now he does also come with this nice little costume change, but that's really all it is, just a costume change. People will find that this guy comes in really, really useful in Super Battle Road, especially on Universal Survivor Saga, Realm of Gods, Pure Saints, Vegeta's family team. You can also use him on Gifted Warriors. You can use Miraculous Awakening, which is the AGL Goku's counterpart team. Sibling Bonds, Worthy Rivals. All of these are actually Vegeta-based teams, so he works out really, really well there. He has Prodigy's Roll Lineage, and which are Vegeta-based teams. He has Tournament of Power, which is a nice 3 key. Fierce Battle and Legendary Power for any other LRs of that caliber. And you think Tournament of Power is very LR heavy, so you're going to get Fierce Battle and Legendary Power a lot. He also has Prepared for Battle. However, the UI Gokus have Over in the Flash, so that's going to work a bit odd, but you'll still get Tournament of Power, which is really, really good. So that's them. I might as well just quickly put these up in here. So they're your top 10. That is the reason, for in my opinion, and I've been playing this game over 5 years now, at the minimum, is the reason why I have these as the top 10. Every single one of these has fantastic value and fantastic use. Now, I hope you found this video helpful. I hope it gave you some hints and tips. Or at the very least, I hope you found this video amusing. Now, until then, until the next time, thank you and bye-bye.